Hey guys, this is God of Politics. Welcome back to a brand new video. But before we get started with this video, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But in today's video, I'm going to be doing my updated Senate elections predictions video for the 2022 Senate elections. Now, I haven't been doing these every month, but I did want to do one every now and then when I have a couple of ratings changes, when some events have happened, some candidates have announced. So I did want to do another one here because I do have a ratings change that I did want to let you guys know about. But we can see here that there are 36 Democratic seats up for not up for re-election, and 30 Republican seats not up for re-election, 34 seats up for re-election in total in this election for both parties. And we can see that, of course, right now the Senate is 50 Democrats, 50 Republicans, a deeply divided Senate with the Vice President Kamala Harris breaking ties. But will any of that division be resolved in the 2022 Senate elections? That's what I'm going to be trying to predict in this video. So starting off with the safe Republican states, as always, that includes Idaho, Utah, Alaska. I'm not going to get into the full ranked choice voting system of Alaska, but it is going to help Lisa Murkowski, I think. And I think that she'll be able to win by a safe margin. Because of it, or not because of it, but that will certainly help her win. North Dakota, South Dakota are both also going to be safe states, very Republican states. Kansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, Arkansas, Missouri, I think is also going to be a safe Republican state. Even if they nominate someone like Eric Greitens, I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. I mean, Missouri is a very Republican state. Trump won it by 20 points in 2016, about 16 points in 2020. The rural areas are very Republican and trending Republican. The suburban areas are trending Democrat, but still quite Republican. And I think that it is going to help the Republicans, and even if they nominate a bad candidate, they'll still probably win it by a safe margin. Kentucky's also a safe state. Alabama's a safe state. You've got Mo Brooks running for the seat, who's probably going to end up winning the primary as of now. South Carolina with Tim Scott, he'll win easily. Ohio's probably going to be a safe state as well. I could bump this down to likely. Actually, I probably will bump it down to likely just because it is an open seat. Indiana's going to be a safe state. Iowa, I'm probably going to put it safe just because of the fact that Chuck Grassley is probably going to run at this point. He's indicated that he is going to run. I know he's very old. I know it doesn't make much sense that he's running, but he has indicated that he's probably going to run, or at least he's leaning towards running. So that will lock the seat up for Republicans, and that's going to be all of these safe states Republicans they get already, up to 45 seats. And I'd probably add Florida to this as well. I think I probably will add Florida. I think it'll be on the cusp of being safe, and I think Marco Rubio can win by just about 10 percentage points, getting him up to 46 seats there. So for the Democratic Party now, they've got, of course, these Pacific states, California, Oregon, Washington. Hawaii is going to be another state. So I think Colorado will probably be a safe state as well with Michael Bennet. He's got the incumbency advantage. He's got the trends in his favor. Colorado is already quite a blue state. And Illinois is going to be a safe state, of course. Maryland's going to be a safe state. New York's going to be a safe state. Connecticut is going to be a safe state. And Vermont is going to be a safe state. So, not much of this division has been helped yet, because after the safe states, Democrats have 46 seats. Republicans also have 46 seats. We've got 8 seats that are really going to be within 10 percentage points, at least in this scenario here, which, is a decent amount of seats. But really, not too many of them are actually going to be competitive. So the likely margin of seats includes, as I pointed out, Ohio before. Now, Ohio is a state where, you've got these trends towards the Republican Party in the rural areas, particularly the eastern Ohio areas. We saw that even in 2020, despite a lot of other Rust Belt rural areas not trending towards Donald Trump. And I think that if they can run a candidate that can appeal to the rural areas, they will be able to get very similar margins to Trump, as well as probably being able to do, similar in the suburbs. Or slightly better in the suburbs. And, we even had a PPP poll, I believe it was, that even Tim Ryan was down by a couple points, and that's PPP. And we know how bad of a pollster PPP is nowadays. They used to be very good, but not very good anymore. So I think that Ohio's probably going to go by, a similar margin to what it went by in 2020. Maybe it goes by a little bit more. It goes by about 8-9 percentage points, but it's not going to be a very competitive race there. So that's going to be a likely margin state in the state of Ohio, and I don't actually think there's going to be any more likely margin states. We do have these 7 seats, which are truly the, competitive seats of this election. And we'll start out with the lean margin states. First, I do believe North Carolina is a lean Republican state for 2022. I think if Democrats ran a good candidate, someone like Roy Cooper, obviously the best candidate they could get, they would win this race. But, you do have a very fractured field, a lot of candidates running for this race, and none of them I can see I can't really see any of them winning this race. You've got Sherry Beasley, the former North Carolina Supreme Court justice, the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, who lost, by like 400 votes in the 2020 election. You've got Jeff Jackson, a state senator. You've got another figure, a black woman, I forgot her name. She's a progressive running who also ran in 2020. I am forgetting her name as of right now, but I'm sure it'll come to me eventually. But she is running as a progressive for that seat. And you've also got a couple other candidates running who, aren't going to be too much of major figures, but they are running for the seat regardless. But I can't really see any of them winning this race. They're going to have to do better in the rural areas, and they're going to have to do well in the suburbs like Roy Cooper did. I can't see a scenario where that happens, but it is going to be a close state. North Carolina is similar to the way Nevada is for Republicans. They've had success there in the past, and they can have success there. They have the ability to do it, but they're just not there yet. And we'll talk about Nevada in a second, but as of right now, I'm putting North Carolina as a lean Republican state. I'm also going to be putting New Hampshire as a lean Republican state. I think that Chris Sununu is going to run at this point, and I think that if he does run, he is going to be at least favored for this seat. You look at the polls, which had him up by a decent amount. You look at his approval rating, which is in the 70s at this point, versus Maggie Hassan, who is, really only in like the low 50s, upper 40s. And there was a poll saying only 42% of people think she deserved to be reelected. 51% think that it should be someone else. So, looking at all indicators we have right now, I don't think she's going to win. But, we will see what happens. If Chris Sununu decides he doesn't want to run, this race automatically goes to lean D. In my opinion, I think that she would certainly win at that point, even against someone like Kelly Ayotte. But I don't think that she would beat Chris Sununu, and so I'm going to put that at lean Republican. Now, the lean states for the Democrats, I am going to say Nevada is a lean state for the Democratic Party. Catherine Cortez Masto, she's a decent candidate. She won by a decent amount in 2016, slightly less than Hillary Clinton, in an open seat after Harry Reid had retired. But in 2022, I can't see a decent candidate emerging from the Republican Party. It doesn't look like someone like Brian Sandoval is going to run for that race, and I, can't really see who else is going to run. Maybe they run a state senator. There's not many Republican state senators in the state of Nevada, due to gerrymandering, bad political geography, other factors, but I can't really see Republicans getting a good candidate as of now, and so, I'm just going to, base it a lot off of the fundamentals of the state, which is a lean D state, and that's what I'm going to put for this race. Now, Arizona, I think it'll be on the cusp of lean and tilt. The reason I'm putting it lean is because of a lot of the internal factors within the Arizona Republican Party. You've got Kelly Ward, who won that race, and then you've got the fact that, there is a division within the Republican Party. There is still a very strong wing of more neocon, moderate Republican type figures who are part of these suburban areas that shifted towards Joe Biden. Without them, you can't win. And it doesn't look like they're going to put up a more moderate figure. Of course, their best candidate, Doug Ducey, said he's not going to run. That puts a big blow to their chances. They run someone like Andy Biggs, he's not going to win. And neither is Paul Gosar. I don't think really any of those candidates can win. Sure, Andy Biggs outperformed in a suburban district, but is that really going to translate to a statewide election? I don't think it is. I think Andy Biggs would lose. I think Mark Kelly's going to win by a lean margin. Now, getting into the tilt Republican states, I first think that Wisconsin is going to be a tilt Republican state. Now, I talked about the state of Wisconsin in one of my recent videos, and Wisconsin's quite an interesting state because you do have, Tammy Baldwin, a very progressive senator, and then you got Ron Johnson, who, is quite a right-wing senator, and there is a possibility he's retired. I talked about this again in my video, which you should go check out. He first said he wasn't going to run, then he said he's going to run, then he said he's not going to run. Now he's saying he might run, he might not. We will see what happens. I think if he doesn't run, it does give Democrats a better chances because of the fact that it's an open seat. Back in 2016, Ron Johnson ran 3 points ahead of Donald Trump against the former Democratic Senator Russ Feingold, who he beat in 2010 as just, an obscure Tea Party businessman. And so I think that Ron Johnson, for whatever it is, he does have electoral strength in Wisconsin, mainly because of the WOW counties, those suburban areas that have given him strength. But if it's an open seat, Democrats do have a number of candidates that they could run. They have the state treasurer. They have someone like Ron Kine. Maybe even Mark Pecan changes his mind and decides that he wants to run for this seat. But we will see what happens. I think that, Democrats certainly can win the seat. As of now, I don't think they're favored because of, number one, Ron Johnson runs, this seat moves up to lean Republican. Number two, even if it's an open seat this year, probably favors Republicans a little bit, and I can't see another Democrat getting the performances that Joe Biden got in the suburban areas, and it's going to be difficult to get those performances that candidates like Obama got in the driftless areas as well. So it's going to be difficult for a Democrat to win in the state of Wisconsin. Can they do it? Yes. Are they favored to? Not at the moment. Now, the final two seats, I think, are both tilt Democrat, and these are changes from my last prediction. In my last prediction, I actually had Georgia as tilt Republican because at the time you had a lot of talk about this, new voter bill, whatever you want to call it. I don't want to take a side on this, but the new bill that the Georgia Republicans passed, but the bill that they ended up passing was much less restrictive than the original bill they proposed, which would, effectively get rid of no excuse absentee balloting and a lot of other restrictions. Those kinds of restrictions did not exist in the final bill that passed, and so I think that it does bode well for Democrats. And, just looking at this a little bit more, the population growth we're seeing, the demographic changes, these, suburban shifts, the candidates, maybe Kelly Loeffler's even saying she's going to run. I just don't think that the Republicans are going to win this race. It's going to be very, very close, and they can win this race, but I just can't see it as of now. So I'm going to put it tilt Democrat in favor of Raphael Warnock, and then the final seat here is Pennsylvania. John Fetterman really could save the Democratic Senate majority. I do think that he's going to do worse and perform worse than Joe Biden in the Philadelphia suburbs. I don't think there's much question about that, but I do think that he is going to perform better in the rural areas. The rural areas have shifted away from the Democratic Party recently, and especially in western Pennsylvania, where he's actually from. And it's been a while since a western Pennsylvania Democrat has won, but I think that he can get good margins in the Allegheny County area, plus, just doing 1 to 2%, maybe even 3% better in a lot of rural areas. I think that can give him a very, very narrow victory, especially given the nature of the Republican Party in Pennsylvania. This time, I don't, see that good of a candidate running as of now, but we will see what happens. A lot of this is very preliminary, very early, but as of now, I say a 50-50 Senate, which is going to, keep a lot of the division that we have, but Democrats would keep the Senate, likely losing the House, but they would keep the Senate, which would help them with judges, maybe a Supreme Court justice. That would be very, very crucial for them, but we will see what happens. So thank you all for watching this video. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Also follow me on Twitter and join the Discord. Those are both linked down in the description. But again, guys, thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you guys later.